All right, well, I will make this very light in terms of plugging the channels. Please consider supporting this channel via channel memberships or super chats. Uh, yeah, so I will just catch people up on the very basics that Aaron Smith-Levin is in jail and will be in jail for a little bit of time, although apparently they may try to get him out and request that he leave jail early. I don't see that happening, but they can try. But even if there's a miracle and Aaron is released in what, 1, 2, 3 days, he still has to go to trial. So we're kind of delaying the inevitable. But I'm not going to concentrate on his outlook in terms of his probable lengthy prison sentence because, yeah, I don't see how he's dodging being found guilty. I want to concentrate on the aftermath, no pun intended, with Pharaoh Cheryl, Nora, and the others, Natalie and Jenna. And Nora's response was, frankly, mostly garbage. However, she was saying some things that do make sense, but for the most part, there's not much to respond to. And it's just very curious that, and I'm trying to head scratch, figure out what she's up to. So, in the body of her responses, she's like, she doesn't feel glad that Aaron is in jail and does not wish him to go to jail and is just reporting the facts, as she calls it. Why she keeps calling facts facts, I don't know. Add an S, you get more money, I don't know. But with the comments constantly saying they are happy that Aaron is in jail, she's liking those comments, doesn't disagree. Is she just a fan of lively discourse? No, that can't be true because she brags how she and her mods are constantly timing out people, so that can't be right. So apparently, if you just go to the video, she's like, oh no, I don't care about Aaron is in jail, I'm just a reporter. Guys, I'm just reporting facts. But if in the comment section you say, I'm glad Aaron is in jail, she gives you a like and said, yes, 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 indeed. Okay, alrighty then. So yeah, her pretending to be indifferent is bizarre. So when it came to for her to actually give her POV, this is a dilemma, right? I'm sure someone will ask eventually. Well, okay, so there's agreement on both sides, right? The Nora side, the anti-Nora side regarding Aaron, that Scientology, right, piece of garbage for the most part. Although you can see some equivocation on Nora's part, not I think because this is her honest opinion, because she has to find a way to differentiate herself, right? Because if you have Nora fighting Scientology and Aaron fighting Scientology, you're like, well, again, just being brutal about it, you're going to support Aaron, right? Because he's bigger, he has a much larger channel, he has a better format and all that, and he's just more likable. And I'm not saying this is good, I'm just stating, to use Nora language, the facts, right? At the end of the day, if it's just pragmatic, right? You want a cat that will chase the mouse, right? They'll just say, well, I'm going to support Aaron. I don't like you. I don't need to like Aaron. I'm just going to support Aaron because I like making fun of Scientologists. So Nora's really trying to make two positions. Both of them are false, but, you know, and one of them is hardly believable, but let me just articulate it just to be fair. She's like, well, I'm giving you better advice on how to protest, even though she barely protests. Even though when she has the opportunity to protest, she doesn't protest. And even though her method of protest has not yielded really extraordinary results, it's also not consistent with her own behavior. Somebody remind me of this, and I'll do this for channel members. Oh, don't worry, guys. I'm really trying to work on a juicy video because there's a lot of secrets to spill. So believe me, if you become a channel member, you're not going to be you'll be pretty like, oh wow, that's pretty stunning. But I have tons of receipts there. So yeah, her POV as an expert protester doesn't seem to make a sense. So what do we have left? Well, it's that, and the analogy didn't really work. I just want to say it how silly she is. So she's like, okay, we all agree Scientology does go after credit. Correct. And she did say something that was actually valuable, that this doesn't feel like if Scientology was out to shut down Aaron, it wouldn't act this way. And use the example of Paulette Cooper, who was a very strong critic of Scientology, and Scientology used a lot of resources to shut her down. And they're not doing the same to Aaron. So what are we going to do here? On the one hand, the Aaron fans are like, we are helping Scientology by celebrating Aaron being in jail. Again, this doesn't make sense because Aaron actively wants DOA and other protesters to go to jail, right? If they're not on his good side, If they go to jail, he doesn't care. Now, he did stick up for Josiah. He also did have some kind words for Michael, Serge's husband. However, everyone kind of realizes he was just forced to do that, right? He's just pretending. He doesn't really want to support the protests, and he doesn't really want to support Serge or Michael. And that is evidenced by him, and the vast majority of recent videos never highlights the protests, never supports them. The only thing he did recently was an interview with Audit LA, and he used it as a way to attack Laura FM and Nora and others. So if he can use them against his other enemies, he'll help a protester, but that's about it. However, I think what Nora doesn't realize, aside from not being very good with logic, is it's not a binary. Because I put out a video saying we should celebrate Aaron being in jail with good reasons, so are we helping Scientology? I think you have to be brutal and say, yes, but there is a big asterisk mark. And Nora messed up the argument. That's why don't listen to her. Please don't patronize her. If you don't want to support me or subsidize me, that is fine, guys. But Nora's giving you first false information, a lot of bad advice, and she doesn't know what she's talking about. So she's making it like, well, they're not going all out, right? It's not like Paulette Cooper. Ergo, Scientology is not behind this. No, Scientology is behind this. It's just that they're not putting the resources to really stop Aaron. So why not? And the answer is because Aaron's not a threat, right? Aaron is an annoyance, but he's not a threat. He's not doing anything that would really stop the church. Paulette Cooper and serious critics can stop the Church of Scientology. What they do is going to resonate and have a lot of credibility with the outside world, and people are going to listen, right? Now, it's not going to happen overnight. It's a meal, but it is going to be very powerful and effective over the long run. With what Aaron is doing, he's just really annoying the local people there, and that's about it. So I'm sure they're ringing up the boss and saying, hey, it's like, okay, well, is he going to put anybody in jail, really? Is he going to really do anything that's like a big expose? And the answer is no. So it's like, well, we don't really care. They're going to allot a certain amount of resources for an op, right? It's just not going to be a ton of money, right? So two things can be true. One, Aaron is acting like a fool and a monster and a terrorist. That is what is happening. Scientology took advantage of this and got him locked up in jail. That's about it. But Aaron basically did a lot of bad things, and they're exploiting it. Now, the obvious $1,000,000 question is, if Aaron acted properly or had, quote, a good record these last couple of years, would Scientology still go after him? Yes, but it wouldn't mean anything. They, whatever, set up a lot of mean videos and do things on their website, but they wouldn't have anything. I mean, the things they're posting, which again, I've said this a bazillion times, guys, if false information is printed about you online or in print, right, or in propaganda, it does not matter. It doesn't matter if it's religion, it doesn't matter if it's a government, it does not matter. You can call your lawyer and force them to retract those statements. It happens all the time because I cover Hollywood constantly. It happens all the time. Sometimes you do need to go to court, so that's why many people just don't care or let it go, but you can do it. That does not mean you trust everything on those websites. However, if these were lies, Aaron could have them retracted. The guy has tens of thousands of dollars, so there's good reason to believe at least some of what the Scientology people are saying is true. Otherwise, he could call his lawyer, call real fast and say, oh, we got a big lawsuit here now. I got 10 million I can make from these lies. But if they're not lies, then Aaron is stuck, right? Like a female eyewitness to you being violent against her is not committing perjury, is not committing slander if they can show evidence that you did these things. Now, again, we have to be careful. That does not mean we believe necessarily everything these women are saying. But when these women are reporting when they were in Scientology that Aaron is acting very arrogant and violent, again, that does hold up with his recent record. So we have good reason to think they are telling the truth, right? And just follow the logic of this all the way through. Well, then why didn't they do something about Aaron earlier if they did? Because they don't really care. This is given some priority, but it's very middling, right? But are we, quote, helping the church by not helping Aaron? The answer is yes, but it's not, again, it's not a binary here. I mean, Aaron is not a good protester. So in a movement, you got to make hard decisions here about who to support and not support. I think Christopher Hitchens was a good guy on many things, but on the war, Iraq, I think he was totally wrong. So even though he was correct on many things, overall a good activist, he was wrong on the Iraq war. So I'm going to support Chomsky and not him. Now, if he gets in trouble, right, or is getting attacked or criticized by this or that, okay, I think usually we should defend him, but not on everything and not on every subject, right? So when Aaron does good work, rarely we'll support that. I think that's proper. That has nothing to do with Aaron. That's for a good cause. However, when he's acting like a moron and an idiot and a grifter, there's no obligation to help him. If Scientology benefits, well, them's the breaks, right? So I think Nora just wants to get out of confessing or admitting she is helping Scientology. I mean, you have to be honest here that in a certain way, critics of Aaron are helping Scientology, but that is a situation that Aaron created. That's a different argument than what Nora is saying because she's incompetent. But, it is a definitely thin line here. It is a bit of a deal with the devil, and it goes both ways, right? Because when Aaron does do good work, if you're supporting him, you're enabling his terrorism. You're enabling his fascism. He's not going to interpret that, oh, you're doing for good. Oh, now you're in control of the Church of Uranus. So that's the dilemma. And that's just how life is. You got to make some hard, bad choices sometimes. Right. And you have to be open about that. It's a corrupting process. I'm willing to admit there's some corruption going on, and I'm a part of it because it's just what it is. However, Nora keeps posing as a perfect angel. I'm not a criminal, guys. I've never had criminality. Da, da, da. No, she's not. No, she's not. She's as much a criminal as Aaron. She's just more wise and careful, and more of a coward, too, by the way. So she's much more careful when she's a coward and a criminal. Aaron is just blatantly, he's being obviously toxic, but she just hides it more. But she's the same thing. If you were more honest, you just tell our audience, yeah, I'm helping the Church of Scientology because I hate Aaron's. That's what's going on. And she could just admit that, but instead she's trying to find some magical standard where she's totally innocent, and she's not. She's as guilty as Aaron. She just doesn't want to admit it.